When I spoke to you last, I know we talked about many of the writers of the past who I think you admire the most, like Walt Whitman and Thoreau, and
Mm.
I was just curious, like who are some of the people who are writing today that you admire most, or that you're learning a lot from right now?
Um, I've been on a big kick of long form journalism recently. And if you go to longform.org online, you can find a daily. They send like 5 links a day. They're not all about travel, but it's really good reportage. And one of the great contemporary long form travel writers is Peter Hessler, who was the New Yorker's correspondent in China for a long time. He's in Cairo now. He wrote a book called Rivertown, and another one called Oracle Bones. His new one was called Strange Stones. And he spoke Chinese and he's learning Arabic, and so he's a better man than me. He's good at language, and my reportage has never really involved fluency on my part. But he's really able to capture stories that go beyond, sort of the one-tone note of news headlines. But it's also not sort of the charming, self-regarding thing either. He's really reporting, and he puts himself in the stories a little bit, but he's doing the work to really know what it feels like to be in a small town in China, or a factory in China, or to be learning how to drive in China, or to be at a mosque in Cairo. So he's a good example, and there's other journalists like that out there. And more, I think that the line between travel and other genres of journalism isn't always clear. You have somebody who might go to a country to do war journalism and stay in the region and report from those countries and those places in a way that evokes travel but isn't necessarily a tourist experience. Myself as a travel writer, I sort of write from the perspective of tourism because tourism interests me, and in a way, people who go vagabonding aren't journalists or aid workers. They're tourists in their own way. They're vagabonders, and so that psychology interests me. And in fact, I do a lot of reading about the anthropology and sociology of tourism because travelers have their own cultural idiosyncrasies, and it's really fun to take a look at those. But yeah, as far as a recommendation goes, these long-form journalists of the type that of Peter Hessler are a great place to start.